All right, folks, I got some good news for you. And then I've also got some other news that I found out today. Before I get into what I have here, I want to run something by you guys real quick. On my way home yesterday, I noticed that I can hear a little bit of rattling, like metal rattling going on underneath my truck. I'm like, what the shit is that? So I get back to work today and I take a second look, and turns out I'm going to need to replace both my lower ball joints, basically the suspension connections on the front end of my truck. And I get it. I mean, I drive over here down North Green River, and this road is just riddled with potholes. And over here on this side of the town, the roads are terrible. So I can understand, my suspension of my truck just, showing wear a lot faster than usual. But then I went to drop the truck because I'm fixing to go pick up this. I got the cylinder back from the machine shop, and I want to show you guys what he did for me. But anyway, before I drop the truck off the lift, I want to go underneath and check to see if there's any leakage of anything. Any leaks, just making sure I'm good. And I'm like, okay, passenger side in the back here looks good. Look over to the driver's side. What the fuck is that? Okay, so I walk over to it, and well, it broke my leaf spring, guys. I can't really show you, or can I? I could probably show you. But yeah, I broke the damn leaf spring on my truck. I don't know how. It's a 3 leaf spring setup. But yeah, I broke the damn thing. So now, on top of a front end redo, I also have to fix my rear suspension. Check this out. All right, so what you're about to see was what I found after the fact. See all these scrape marks? That means that this leaf spring broke free somehow, and it slid back and it started chewing into this little rubber stopper. But what I was hearing rattling around was this brace just bouncing, doing this shit. My question is, where did it break? It broke over here. You'll see it. You'll see. Look at that. That's a clean break, guys. I had to hammer it back into this position, but yeah, my freaking leaf spring broke. So I had an old serpentine belt, and I ran a bolt through this, and I had it kind of tight already, and I ran 2 holes, and when I tighten it down, it clamps down on this whole back section in order to keep this metal leaf spring from sliding out side to side, because that's what was happening. It was just moving like this, and it's just bouncing on the bottom of the truck. And if you were to look, you can see on my tire, see some of the letters, they're shinier than usual. Yeah, that's because that the inside of this leaf spring was rubbing up against my tire. I had no idea. So now I have to go and get a new leaf spring. Go me. But let me show you what I got, or what I went to go get earlier today, and I'm pretty happy about what I got. So why I was dropping the truck is because I got a call from Hector over at the machine shop, and I went to this place called a Diesel Specialist. They're literally on the next neighborhood over from my house, and I ended up having to pay $396. I thought it was going to be $158, but he kind of left out the tax, the parts, the what do you call it, other labor, whatever. He left out all these other things when he told me the price, so that's why I dropped it off. I thought it was going to be about 120, 150 bucks. Nope. $396.93 I had to pay for this. I had bought a brand new piston. Okay, I had to get a larger piston because the original one, or the one that the guy that bought or replaced another one, this one was the stock size, but the problem is the inside of the sleeve was worn down so much from the previous piston rings, which I'm pretty sure is probably going to be those, maybe, I don't know. and it wallowed it out to where there was too much gap, and this wasn't gonna work. So I can set this in there. Look at that. Look how much gap is in there. That's the difference. So I just want to let you guys know that I had this not only bored, but I also had it honed. You see the scratches in there? How they look like little X's? They crisscross each other. Let me see, but there you go. That is called crosshatch. That is what I wanted. That's what was missing from before. And I had to pay to get that done. So now, let me go ahead and open this up real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This cylinder, or this piston, is, I think, 10 thousandths. I think it's 10 thousandths over, or 10 thousandths larger. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it comes with brand new rings. It comes with the wrist pin locks. And how I know he got into this and he used it for measuring is little greasy marks or oil marks everywhere. And this is the new piston that I had purchased, and I gave it to him so he can properly make both the cylinder sleeve and the piston match or work together. See that he's got a little bit of oil down in here, so it tells me he had this in there for size reference. So what I can do, see that's I don't remember the name brand of this. I know it's Namura, I guess that's what it's called. It's this brand. Got it on Amazon for like 40 bucks. But I flipped this over, and before, you probably can't see, but the size difference, it's hard to tell the size difference. It really is. Watch this. I put the old one on there, and I can move this around. I put the new one in that he sized up with the machining. Slide that in there. Nope. In fact, as I'm pushing down, I can feel air pushing through these little holes in the side. So that's compression right there. I can feel the air pushing past it. So this is what I paid almost $400 for, which is good. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be taking this top end, and we're going to be putting it back on the Honda Foreman motor, which is going to be boom right here. We're going to put all this back together, and I'm going to see if I can just go ahead and reassemble the whole top end and be done with it, at least for today. I don't think I'm going to put this back inside of the Honda Foreman, or back in the four-wheeler anytime soon. Probably going to wait till after Christmas to do that. So let me go ahead and take these. Oh wait, yeah, I'm going to put these rings on the piston, and then I'll just go ahead and get this all lined up and hooked up and put the top end back on the motor. One thing I did just notice is these are the brand new piston rings that came out of the box, and this bag is still sealed. It's still sealed. So he never used these piston rings at all. He never used them. So this is my first time opening them, and I'm going to check them and make sure that the gap is correct. Now you really can't screw these things up because these are quite literally labeled. If you look close enough. So this one says first, this one says second. So what that means is on the piston itself, the one that says first is a ring that's going to go on the top one. Before I do that, well, that's where they go. I'm just saying. This is how I'm going to test them. Make sure they are a good fit. Just that in there, and then you take the top of the piston. Do it like so. And then you take your feeler gauge or your gap gauge and put it in between there to see what your gap is. So I need to get my gauge to see what size gap that is, and then compare it to the paperwork that he gave to me. So according to this documentation, this paperwork, if you guys can see, the first ring is going to be COMP, that's compression ring. That's going to be the first ring. So we're looking between 6 thousandths and 12 thousandths gap. And then the second ring is going to be between 12 thousandths gap and 18 thousandths. And then the oil ring will be 8 thousandths gap to 28 thousandths gap. So we're going to go based upon this, and we're going to see what we've got. So let's look at the compression rings first. It's going to be the first and second one, between 6 and 12 thousandths. I got my little gauges here. I know they're not that beautiful, but they'll work. So let's see what we have here. That's really loose. Okay. All right, after about 5 minutes of finding the right one, we are 12 thousandths gap, and that one is a good fit. I can feel where the rings are just touching the tool, which is cool. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next ring, but I'm not gonna show you guys every single one of them. But that's what I'm doing. I'm checking the gap on every single one of these. Should be looking at the same. And we are. I can feel it just touching it. Okay. I think we're good. All right, I will be checking the oil rings here in just a second. But let me go ahead and get on with the rest of this assembly, so I'll be right back.